Purity of being is not the same as the pure self. Not realizing this yields experience rather than the true nature of things. Harmonious integration centered around itself yields the appropriate attitude to the self. Book 3 of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras is called Vibhuti, which means manifestation. And it's traditionally understood as the manifestation of supernormal powers. And I suspect it's this understanding which has kept this text in awareness. However, it should be quite clear so far that what Patanjali is concerned with is nothing to do with supernormal powers. In fact, there's only one sutra which makes any reference to supernormal powers in a direct way, and that's the first sutra of book 4, which there's good reason to believe is extraneous because it doesn't tell us anything. I think if people realize that Patanjali's Yoga Sutras has got nothing to do with supernormal powers, well then the text would probably be even more obscure than it is, and we probably wouldn't even know of it. So what the manifestation is, what Vibhuti is, isn't something to be desired. Vibhuti, the manifestation, is what we covered in the last 4 videos, which covered Sutras 26 to 34. In these sutras we dealt with the manifestation of objects, the physical world. We dealt with sensations and feelings, and we dealt with thoughts. These are the manifestations. These are what have the potential to dissolve our samadhi. So as I said at the very beginning of this series of videos, Vibhuti is the context in which samadhi is tested. Because the whole goal of the sutras isn't to reach samadhi, it's to be established in samadhi. And once we have some basis in samadhi, we apply ourselves to dealing with the manifestation of all these things, of all these proclivities to dissolve it. So that's the dynamic. This is enlightenment practice. And what Sutra 35 is telling us is that we are not concerned with purifying the mind or purifying ourselves. This again, along with the conventional belief that yoga is about supernormal powers, is the belief that it's about purification. Yoga is about the pure self. It's about becoming established in the pure self. This is samadhi. It isn't about following certain procedures, certain exercises, certain rituals. None of these have got anything to do with the pure self or with becoming established in the pure self. Rather, what they are is the manifestation of a particular psychological type. It's a type you can often find in yoga or spiritual circles. They tend to be a little bit precious and a little bit uptight. Just as a little aside, I'm speaking from my own experience here. I used to be like that. And there's one particular acid test to let you know where you are, and that's your attitude towards noise. Spiritual types don't like noise. If they're trying to meditate, it must be silent. They don't like to be disturbed. But the path of wisdom embraces noise. Not that it encourages noise, but doesn't get uptight. So, not realizing this yields experience rather than the true nature of things. And this is very often what your spiritual type is after. They're after a certain type of experience. They're a kind of addict. They want a high. Maybe they had a drug high once, on psychedelic drugs, and they want to replicate this high by natural means for some reason. They're wanting the experience. They're wanting the experience of being pure. But this has got nothing to do with the true nature of things. So the true nature of things is about being centered in the self. And this is where we direct our samyama towards once again. After directing our samyama to the manifestation of all that might disturb it, we turn it once again back on itself, because this is the appropriate attitude to the self. Abiding in the self is the appropriate attitude, true knowledge of the self.